What's up, guys? Welcome once again to the Save Continue podcast. My name is Ryan Robinson. With me, as always, Sinead Howard.
What's up?
Tom Shelby.
Hello.
And back by popular demand, James Sandy Sandusky.
Can I get my hello again?
Do it again, Sinead.
Hi, guys.
All right. Screwed up my flow. Every week we get together and we talk about video games and other shit related to such. Sinead, how have you been?
Good. Like, real good.
Yeah? Why so good?
I did the Pokemon Community Day yesterday and today.
Uh-huh.
And got some good stuff from it.
Yes?
What'd
you get?
It's like Eevee Day, so...
What does that mean?
Like, Eevees are more popular and you're more likely to get a shiny one.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then also you get a bunch of other bonuses.
Okay.
So, I use a bunch of those other bonuses to do other things I want to do in the game. And I am almost out of Kingdom Hearts. I had 2 parts that really stuck with me, but this week I have been playing it, like, non-stop to try and finish this fucking Birth by Sleep.
Sinead, you're gonna be playing Kingdom Hearts till you're dead, man.
Just until 3, and then never again.
You just stop when 3 comes out?
And then it's gonna be dead to me.
Sure.
Yeah. I also bought a really, really bad Atomi.
What's that?
I was telling you all about it earlier. It's the one where you try and date middle-aged men.
What's bad about that?
No, it's not. The game, that premise of the game isn't bad. It's just the writing is bad, and none of the love interests are really interesting.
Because they're middle-aged?
No, it's just bad story writing, bad background writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sandy, what have you been up to? Mr. Texas himself.
Playing a lot of Mega Man X, going through the collection.
Yeah?
Gotta get that platinum.
Yeah.
How many Mega Man X's have you beaten so far, Sandy?
3, and I'm about halfway done with X4.
What's your favorite Mega Man X game?
Mega Man X, the
Your-
first one.
How
Why?
many are there?
8.
You're gonna play Mega Man X until you die.
No, I'm going through them pretty.
I don't know, Sinead, he's making more progress through those X games than you're making through those Kingdom Hearts games.
There's more content in the Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah.
Sandy's making so much progress through the X games, he's Tony Hawk.
It's a good one. It's true.
You get it?
I get it, because skateboarding.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that. Loaded WoW back up.
Oh,
Yeah?
really?
Yeah.
Hey,
A
Sinead,
lot
Are
of
you
people
not?
excited.
Sinead, are you going back?
No.
Let's go back together.
No. But I want to hear about Sandy's, I want to hear about Sandy's experience so I can live vicariously through him so I don't have to go through it again.
Real quick, I heard someone say, Ryan, I want to live vicariously through you, and that was really funny to me. Go on, Sandy.
No, I jumped into it because they're doing a pre-expansion storyline thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, I want to see how that goes, and I really want those mounts because once it's done, it's done.
That's not true.
No,
That's never true.
No, because they're exclusive to that quest line. And
Yeah, but Blizzard games always say that, and then you can always get them later on.
Not for their mounts. There's a lot of mounts that you can't get anymore.
No,
Okay.
yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
Facts.
I've not played much WoW, so that's fine.
Nah, and then there's people that like.
As far as Diablo and StarCraft and all that shit goes, you can get Overwatch for that matter. You can keep getting shit that they say is exclusive to events.
Yeah, man.
No, that's real talk. People like go to the main cities and just like will go away from their keyboard and just like be on their mount in the city just to brag that they have it.
Yeah. There's those mounts.
They pay a $15 a month subscription to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably play it regularly, but a lot of times they spend like 8 hours just in the fucking like central cities bragging about their mounts.
Okay.
But yeah,
Real life.
Sure.
they burned down Teldrassil.
Okay.
Sylvanas burned that down, and the Alliance
Well,
tried
there's a
taking
lot of
Lordaeron
fires
back,
going on in California right now.
Sylvanas
It's
lighted
topical.
it, so she destroyed that.
I get it.
Nice.
So Sylvanas is going to be like the main villain.
Nice. I'm down for that.
And it's finally back to Horde versus Alliance. No
Right.
third
Yeah.
party.
I got a picture.
Nice.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Y'all are just the worst. Every time, like, you two go on a tangent, me and Sandy wait patiently for y'all to finish.
Wait, can I finish?
We waited patiently.
Yes, you can finish. You can finish.
We haven't answered the trivia right, so no, you can't finish.
Alright, what's this trivia, Tom?
What's
There's no trivia.
Well-
Ryan, what have you been playing?
That's a good question.
Way to host this show, Sandy.
I think Sandy could actually be an excellent host.
Alright,
if,
guys.
If only he had the gumption.
The only game that Ryan's been playing that matters is the Mummy Demastered.
That's kind of actually objectively true.
So last week when I went to Ryan's house,
Yeah.
and Ryan was showing me the video of him playing it, he wanted to show me this particular part where he was making a
voices.
joke.
Yeah.
The
And
voices
he was,
are good.
And he was
I worked really
giggling
hard on that.
for so long, like a minute before the
I made a
joke
good
actually
joke.
happened.
I made a good joke when I was streaming the Mummy Demastered a few days ago, and I made a good joke that no one laughed at, and that so I needed to show.
It's hard to tell who's laughing
Oh,
when there's no
no.
one in the room with you.
No, because on the internet.
No, I remember because you
I
were.
laughed.
Did you, which?
I just wasn't next to you, so you didn't hear it.
Well, you got all self-conscious too, because on Discord you're like, no one laughed at my joke, and I was just like, I chuckled, but
no, because when you're on the internet, you gotta say LOL or I don't know.
No.
You gotta say LOL. I
You
don't know
laughed
that you're
enough
laughing.
for everybody else. You laughed for a minute before the joke ever happened.
Cool.
Anyway, so yeah, I've been playing the Mummy Demastered, which, by the way, thank you, Tom, for introducing me to that game.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
Like, I don't know. Again, I've said this already, but you know, I didn't have my interest in Metroidvanias was very passive, and now it's actually pretty
You know
pronounced.
what? Like watching you play it. Granted, I only watched maybe an hour or so. You were going through it just fine.
You gotta use the map. That's the key.
Yeah.
You gotta use the map.
Well, they don't all give you maps as a problem.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. Well, a lot of the more does Action Verge give you a map?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of the more modern ones give you maps, so I can make it through with the map.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you have a DS or 3DS?
I have a new 3DS.
Would you want to play the Castlevania Metroidvanias I got for that?
They're very good.
Yeah, I'll check them out.
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot about Castlevania, but I know that people like it.
You don't need to.
I've still been playing a lot of No Man's Sky.
I mean, they're Igarashi ones, right? So, like Symphony
What's
of the Night.
okay? There's Igarashi, and is there another prolific?
No,
Okay.
Just Igarashi.
it's fake names. Well, not all fake names, but you know,
I get you.
Konami bullshit.
I get what you mean.
Don't poach our people.
Right. Man, it's crazy to think about how long that's been going on. And also, I picked up Mafia 3 again. Loaded that. Played 10 minutes of that.
It's free right now, right?
Yeah, it's a PS Plus game. What else? And the Dead by Daylight was one of the games, and I want to play that just because I want to play the Freddy Krueger stuff. And I think Michael Myers is in that too. So that's neat. And I also re-downloaded Fury on a whim. You know that game, Sandy? Fury.
No.
It's this which is like a boss rush.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a boss rush game, where
It's difficult.
it's very difficult, but it's
Kind of bullet hell,
yeah,
almost.
yeah.
Not quite, but almost.
You're this guy who's trying to escape from some kind of prison or whatever, and you're equipped with a sword and a pistol, and you kind of use both of those, in each fight, like depending on the situation, and like all the bosses have like all these moves and patterns that you kind of gotta memorize and get the tempo down for, and
Same studio that did the Afro Samurai games, and you can tell.
Oh, okay. I really liked Afro Samurai.
Yeah.
So yeah, the game is actually more fun than I remember it being. So I've been having a good time with that. Thomas,
Sir.
what are you up to, man?
So I wasn't here last week, so I've got a lot of games I've been playing. I beat Curse of the Moon. Finally sat down and went through it.
How was
Okay.
that?
It's fan-fucking-tastic. If you like old Castlevania, you need to play this game.
How long did it take you?
Oh, dude, it's like less than 2 hours for one run.
Okay.
But there's like 8 different endings, and you can play through that game in many different ways.
How do you mean?
So like, there's difficulty, right? But then there's like, after you beat it the first time, something happens in which your next playthrough can be different. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. There's also, and this isn't really a spoiler because it happens very early in your first playthrough, you recruit people along the way, right?
Okay.
Different characters that you can swap between. But when you come up to each one of them, you have the option to recruit them, to not recruit them, or to kill them. And any of those 3 options will drastically change what that playthrough is like.
Okay.
Um,
Is it like a dialogue choice or what happens?
No, it's not a dialogue choice. Like it's a dialogue choice only if you recruit them.
Okay.
There's dialogue.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just walk right past them to leave them alone or kill them.
Right. Do they fight back?
No.
Okay.
If you kill them, your character, the main character Zangetsu gets like more abilities than he would normally have throughout the game.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. I was talking to James about this. Nier Automata is very much the same way in that like through gameplay, it changes how difficult or easy the game can be.
Right.
And I really like that. It's a fantastic game. I'm getting ready to go on this trip, so I won't be here next week. Might not be here the week after. As such, I'm like, well, I gotta take my Switch with me. Haven't turned my Switch on in probably a couple of months.
Right.
I'm like, well, let's see what there is. Totally forgot Tropical Freeze came out, so I picked that up. Been playing that, and mostly
I still want to buy that.
it's fantastic. Sinead. It is the best Donkey Kong Country game
Ever.
One of the best 2D platformers ever.
Everyone says it's so good, but I like.
David Wise is back.
I still need to
Giving
finish
you those
Kingdom
jungle
Hearts.
beats.
Yeah, because he wasn't in the in Returns.
Say giving you those jungle beats.
Giving you them jungle beats.
Thank you.
So I picked that up. What I've been spending most of my time with is Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
Yeah, you were playing that when we got here.
Yeah. Trying to 100% it. I've 100%ed the first book. I'm on to book 2.
So it's books?
And yeah, I mean, that's how they break it up.
Okay.
But yeah, like each book is X amount of levels,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
So I'm about a third of the way through. And it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, is the what is that? Is the object to find all the treasure? Is it like?
It just depends on you, how much you want to do.
Okay.
You can beat the game by just getting to the end of each level.
Right.
In trying to 100% it, there's 3 gems per level, so I'm trying to find all 3 of those. There's a specific objective to each level, so like, don't get hit.
Right.
Collect X amount of coins. Kill every enemy. Like it changes per level.
Yeah.
And then the Switch version adds this little pixelated toad that's very well hidden and you're intended to find.
Okay.
And
Is there a
you know,
bonus that you unlock by finding that, or?
It's just an extra thing to do.
Okay. Is there a page where like keeps track of all the stuff that you found and unlocked and everything?
Yes.
Cool.
Mhm.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's really it.
And you guys play or heard of Mother Gunship? Anybody?
Yes. I was there when you bought it.
He was. If you haven't played that game, you should play it. The game is really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
in addendum to what I've been doing,
Mhm.
Tom challenged me to do the entire NES collection.
Don't talk about it.
Be about
No,
it.
I'm not done with it, but so I've been
I'll have you on afterwards.
I've been
to give
working-
your impressions
I've been
of
working on
library.
that, and I got up to Kirby. That's where I've left off.
By play every game, we don't mean play through the game 100% beat the game.
Which you should.
Just give time to each game.
How much time are we talking about?
Well, we started off 10 minutes and he couldn't handle that. So
Why?
it's funny because some games he's playing to completion,
Yeah.
and then some games he'll play for like a minute. He's like, "This sucks," and dip.
yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well,
When you hit to play, it's like a swath of like 7 baseball games in a row.
sure. Baseball
Yeah.
was very popular in the late 80s.
Yeah. If you're
And
doing,
it's-
are you doing it alphabetically?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would be.
So it's just you playing. That's funny.
Yeah. So it's like bases loaded 1, 2, 3, base wars. I'm just like, oh god, I can't take it anymore.
That's really
Base
great.
Wars is the robots, right?
Yeah, base wars is the robots.
Oh, please tell me you gave that one more than 1 minute. That one's the best one.
I played it. It was fun.
Oh.
It's not the
Did you make it to the 10-minute mark?
no.
Oh, you make me sad.
No.
Last
what-
night, I started AM2R
Okay.
for the first time,
Okay.
and man, is it good!
Yeah.
It's really good.
I want to try that so I can compare it to Samus Returns.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I think
Wait.
all you have to really ask yourself is, do you prefer Super Metroid or do you prefer Mercury Steam Metroid? You know,
Yeah.
Is it Metroid 2 done in the style of Super Metroid?
Metroid 2 is a Game Boy game. Yes, AM2R is Metroid 2 done like Super Metroid. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
That sounds cool.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that about the one time I beat a Metroid game?
Which Metroid?
Metroid
Prime?
Prime, yeah.
That was hard.
Harder than normal Metroid games. Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes it harder?
The final boss is insanely hard. I've only beaten it once.
I don't even think it's so much that a specific enemy is hard. It's so much as that like
It's a very expansive
there's a lock-on
world.
mechanic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
Like
right.
you're not free firing around. You
Right.
can, but like you're not going to hit anything.
Right.
And not having that, like in 2D games, whether it's Mario or Metroid or whatever it might be, the character like basically becomes an extension of you. You don't have to think about what you're doing. You're just doing,
Right.
you know. Whereas lock-on, whether it's Prime or even like Z targeting in Ocarina of Time or something like that, you gotta like you kind of have to think about what you're doing, even though it's an easier way to precisely hit what you want to hit.
Yeah.
It's not as natural.
It's a conscious action that you have to take.
Well, with Prime 1 as opposed to 2 and 3.
Prime 1's the only one I played.
Okay. Well, Prime 2 is you go through the same map. It's got like a light world and a dark world. So it's that very, what's the word, multi-regional, like Prime 1. Prime 3 is you go to different worlds, but they're all really small because there's so much.
Okay.
So
No Man's Prime.
So even that...
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
it is
pretty good.
So even that, like, while you're going to different worlds, it didn't feel the same like Metroid, where everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
Prime 1 was so big
It was.
that it had something that the other was. It just couldn't match.
And make no mistake, the only reason I beat Prime 1 is because I was on GameFAQs every step of the way trying to, like, because
No shame in that.
Because I mean that's because that sort of thing, like, yes, I got a map and everything, but like the order, like the thing about Metroid, for me anyway, and a lot of those games, is the order in which you do things or approach things is not readily apparent to me, and I feel like without that guidance I just would have never finished that game.
It's not though. Like right, like even if the first time you play a 2D Metroid, you go right, and like maybe that's where you want to go. Maybe you need to go left, but you have to go right to figure out you have to go left. You
Yeah.
know,
This
like,
one,
yeah.
no.
Well, like when I have like full range of 3D motion,
Right.
like it's
Yeah.
harder to suss that out.
Well, it's a 3D Metroidvania too, so it's just like
Yeah,
Yeah, but then like to Tom's point though, like
you've been more successful with that.
Yeah, like the Arkham games, I've kind of just like I've never really. The only time I get stuck in an Arkham game is like when I'm supposed to be like with the crime scene stuff, or like when I'm supposed to be looking for like an item or something. But I'm never at a point where I'm like I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
With,
I
with
guess,
Mummy, I think you give that like 4 more hours, 5 more hours, you'll be done.
Yeah.
You know.
What were you saying, Shanae?
Speaking of game packs, no, I've been using them with Birth by Sleep because I'm trying to 100% it. So all of the treasures and stickers and the Mirage Arena. Sometimes like I just don't know I'm just like I'm ready to beat it. So I'm like, all right, game packs it is. What's the fastest way to get all of this done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
And that's part of the reason I'm breezing through it, because like the first like playthrough of it, I didn't use any of the guide stuff, and so I'm like, where the fuck is this treasure chest?
Well, see, James was talking about, what were you talking about? What game? We were talking about Fire Emblem before you guys got here. And he's saying the only time he's ever beaten Fire Emblem is...
on easy mode.
On easy mode, where there's no permadeath, right? I'm like, that's okay. If you're enjoying yourself and it gets you through the game,
Sure.
That's, awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I think like Nier or Curse of the Moon are fantastic, because you can change difficulty, but through gameplay you're changing difficulty.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. I was thinking about it just now, and like I think about how often I use GameFAQs during like the PS1, PS2 era, and how infrequently I feel the need to use anything like GameFAQs now. And I'm wondering if it has more to do with like my level of cognition getting better, or just games getting easier.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I can tell you this.
Also, maybe the way you play your games compared to when you were a kid.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I do think games generally are easier than they used to be.
After that, going through these NES games, I can tell you they are.
Yeah. Not always, but yeah, for the most part.
You gotta give those games a good college try, like I did with those other games on Steam. You gotta give those games an Ian's Eyes try.
Oh, God. Well, but you know what though? It's like, because even like the X games, like X1's easy. Because I've
Say the
played...
Mega Man X games.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I still take
I know, I immediately was
skateboarding
like,
and-
okay.
Talk.
Sky White.
So yeah, the Mega Man X games, going through the X1,
Right.
I'm not going to say Mega Man every time.
If you say X2, I'm gonna think of the X-Men movie. Just so you know.
I'm gonna think of Final Fantasy
Mutants
X2.
United.
Sure. Great movie.
The first one's easy. Second one, it's not that hard. Once I got to the third one, it was really hard. And then now I'm doing the fourth one, and I breezed through that in like 30 minutes.
So what's harder about it, like the journey to the boss or the boss itself?
Both.
Okay, because I've always like with the only Mega Man game I've ever beaten a boss in is Mega Man 2, with under Tom's tutelage.
But every Mega Man game it's the same. It's
I've always had more trouble with Wily's Castle than the rest of the game. Like, I have more difficulty in all Mega Mans at the end of the game than getting
But like watching people play Wily's Castle, that very much seems like an endurance test than anything else.
it is, well, especially
There's
once
precision, though. Like in 2, specifically 2, when you're running from the dragon,
Yeah.
I always fuck that up. Always. I'm fine running from the fucking laser beams, but running from that dragon every time.
No, it's different things. Like yeah, it's like in X4, there's parts where it's like ice, so you're slipping and sliding a lot,
Yeah.
and you gotta like watch out for spikes. But 3, I don't know why. It was just 3 was hard.
Is it 2 or 3 that starts on the bike?
Are you talking about Mega
2.
Man X3?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
There's motorcycles. You start on a motorcycle.
That sounds pretty rad. That actually, for some reason, I don't know why, but that's for me that I was like, man, I want to play. Was it Contra 3?
Yeah.
That's the SNES one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Contra 3, the Alien Wars.
Yeah, I want to play that. I don't know. For some reason, that made me think of it.
You can play it.
Are Mega Man X and Mega Man the same guy?
No.
No.
Okay.
They never really say what happens. They haven't said what happens to Mega Man.
And Mega Man
Dead.
X,
Gotta be dead.
Is it his son?
is he dead?
No,
That's
he
just
can't-
so far in the future.
I'm pretty sure Mega Man can't
Is
reproduce.
it his
Well, they've never said.
great grandson?
No, they've never said if Mega Man has gotten upgraded to X,
Okay.
or if X is his own separate entity. Like
I
it's
think
never-
it's different people.
it's never been.
It's never been
said.
confirmed.
Yeah.
I
Like
think people are robots because, like, Mega Man is not an android. Mega Man is a robot.
yeah,
You know.
Why has he got that
Oh.
skin though?
Yeah, I don't know. This is how they make them, I guess.
because reasons.
And
Yeah, ask Dr. White.
Yeah.
okay, I mean he's the only one with skin and hair, as far as I can tell, right?
No, zero.
I mean, like in those original games, right?
Roll. Was Roll a robot?
The Roll's a robot.
Okay,
Yeah.
she had skin and hair too.
Yeah. And
Long blonde hair.
Okay.
yeah, and in the
And that was his sister.
yeah.
Well, as much of a sister as she could be. As, a
And she
robot,
had
you know.
that worthless vacuum hand in the cartoon show.
Did she not have that in the video games?
No,
The
she's
suck
completely different.
You see, James, do you ever see Wayne's World?
Yes.
Do you remember the suck cut?
No.
Okay, when Wayne and Garth sold out and went on syndicated television, they had a guest on the show who invented a contraption called the suck cut.
No, it's before they sold out. They had the suck cut.
Okay, but when they're still
The
in the
movie
basement.
opens with suck cut.
Yeah, that's right. There's a guy who went on their show who invented the suck cut, which was nothing more than a vacuum cleaner that you would use to suck the hair out of your head.
No, it sucks as it cuts.
It sucks as it cuts, but you.
It certainly does suck.
And Wayne said it certainly does suck because Garth was obviously in pain because it was just pulling his hair.
Sure.
Anyway. Sandy, what do you think if I were to play through all the Mega Man games?
I'd be praying for you.
Which one would be the one I had the most trouble with? How many are there? 9?
Oh, okay. So are we
We're
talking
talking about like just Mega Man.
So Mega Man, or
Meg-
Mega Man X?
Mega Man.
There's going to
10.
be 11.
There's 10. There will be 11 soon.
Okay. Is X been discontinued or do they not? Does nobody care about X anymore?
X is pretty much
I mean, X was supposed to be gone a long time ago.
yeah. X
Okay.
X was supposed to end at 5, because then they brought out Mega Man 0.
But I think that really depends on the success of the X Legacy Collection and the success of Mega Man 11.
Did we at one point play as Zero?
Yeah.
Yes.
Several times.
Okay.
In the X...
Did he have
in
his own game or?
Yes. That's the
Okay.
Mega Man
There's
Zero.
Mega Man
series.
Zero, which there are several of.
And those
Okay.
are really hard.
But how?
Not play those because you will just die.
He seemed like the coolest one with his laser sword.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, he's cool. Zero's really good. He's a lot harder because he's got to be close range.
So X2 or 3, you can play as Zero.
X3 is the first one you can play as Zero.
So, like, play that instead of the Zero games.
Who is Base?
Base is a Wily version of Mega Man built to try and like compete with him.
He's like Bizarro Mega Man.
No, he's just a Wily version of Mega Man.
I wish he was a Wile E. Coyote version of Mega Man.
That seems like it'd be more entertaining.
Yeah,
Because Base has got his dog Trouble, whom he confused with just like Mega Man does with Rush in 6.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Okay, Base has his dog Treble,
Mm-hmm.
and Mega Man also has a dog.
Yeah, called
You know Rush.
Yeah.
The red dog.
Right. He's the one you can surf on sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the 6th one, you can surf on him. He can also turn into a submarine, and he can also turn into like armored jetpack.
So there are water levels in Mega Man.
Yes.
Okay. I'm now more reticent to play Mega Man. But I don't know. Those games I've always I love the way people talk about them. Like it's kind of like with sports, right? When I hear people talking about football or whatever, I'm always like, man, they seemed really into that, and I wish I could be as into it as they are, and like joining in that conversation, but it just never stuck with me. And the Mega Man always just turned me off because it was too hard.
The early Mega Mans aren't, like, the not X Mega Mans are not that hard, really. It's just learning. I mean, there is a certain level of finesse to it, but you get that with time, you know?
There are a lot of games coming out in the next month or so. A lot of really cool games, Sandy.
Isn't Red Dead 2 coming out really soon?
November?
October.
October?
Yeah.
Because didn't they just release new gameplay of that?
Yeah, they did a gameplay dealy this past weekend.
Part 1.
Part 1.
Did you watch the Doom Eternal?
Yep.
I haven't gotten the chance to watch it, and I every time I get the what's the word, the notion to watch it, like the only screen I have with me is my phone, and I don't want to watch it on my phone. I want to watch it on like a good sized screen.
It looks very good. Do you mind if we talk about it?
No, go ahead.
Okay, it looks very, very good. There's one thing that has me worried about it. They show you starting off with the super shotgun,
Okay.
which has like this hook on the bottom of it
Okay.
that you can shoot enemies. It grabs them and pulls you to them, right?
So it's a hook shot gun?
Yeah.
It's a grappling gun?
So the interesting thing about this is they show this only attached to this gun. That's the only gun that they showed attached to, right? And it drastically changes the mobility of Doom. You are now grabbing an enemy and like launching yourself into the air, grabbing another one, and you're like not touching the ground for
Right.
like a long time.
Right.
And I'm like, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
What a cool idea. But is it gonna make me prioritize that gun?
Right. And that's because like there are those games that have that like
why would I use anything else?
right like there are
Yeah.
those games that have
Like,
that.
I've bitched about it a couple times, like Dead Island. Like, if you're gonna curb something, why would I do anything else?
Because you get into that, like, you find the most efficient way to perform that action, and you never deviate from it.
And the other guns look great, but like none of them made him move like that one did.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's, like, I guess, kind of, pun intended, that's kind of the hook of this, right? That's what's new.
It looks great. More variety in the glory kills
Yeah.
environments.
I think that was...
samey but better.
I think that the lack of variety in the glory kills is kind of one of the things that I lamented about the first one, but... but to be... what's that?
I don't, I'm obviously not a Doom player, but,
Doom Slayer.
Yeah, Doom
I'm
Slayer,
not a
please.
Doom Slayer.
Use the proper...
Or a
nomenclature.
Vampire Slayer, or any of that. But, can you only have one gun at a time in Doom?
No, you could have miniguns.
I mean,
Like dual wield.
like dual wield.
No.
Like,
No,
can you do like the grappling gun and then also shoot them with another gun?
That would be a good fix.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be cool. That's a good idea. And it might be there, but they didn't show that.
I've never.
oh yeah, that's why I was like, well, I was like,
In 25 years, I've never seen the Doomslayer hold more than one gun at a time.
You know what they did show?
What's that?
Fucking Predator-style shoulder cannon.
Cool. That I can use?
Yep. That shoots not just the same thing, like different things come from it.
That's
can you
neat.
do the shoulder cannon and the grappling gun at the same time?
That would be
I got one more
freaking
for you.
awesome.
Okay.
He's got like this huge bayonet that like extends out from his arm.
Can you do
Like
the
the
grappling
Predator
gun,
claw?
the
Similar,
Predator
very
claw,
similar.
and
Very
the shoulder
similar.
cannon at the same time?
You know, come to think of it, Predator mod for PC probably gonna happen, huh?
Yeah, I think it's probably
Yeah.
that would be. Speaking of which, okay, I don't know if it's out there somewhere, but the last Predator game that I know of was Concrete Jungle from 2005.
Oh, I heard good things about that.
Really?
From a friend who loves Predator.
I love
So-
Predator. I can tell you that friend lied to you. But
I love To Catch a Predator.
they should make a game out of that.
That'd be awesome.
That would be such a great game. They should.
First, you go to the store and get the Mike's Hard Lemonade.
No,
No,
you're not. No,
you're
why would
Chris
you be the
Hansen.
Predator,
You're Chris
Tom?
Hansen.
Oh, I don't know.
You are Chris Hansen. You're not the Predator.
What I was thinking.
Well, like, Sneak King. I don't
No.
know.
I was thinking that there's a PC version of LA Noire, right?
I'm just
Yes.
Then they do a To Catch a Predator mod for LA
picturing it
Noire.
like
Okay.
when he says
You
take
turn
a
that-
seat. It is
What's his
musical
name?
chairs.
I don't remember his name. I know who, yeah.
But
That
you're
you-
telling the other Predator to take a seat, and you have to like hit the right.
No,
action
Not
sequence
the
buttons.
Predator.
No, a Predator. Yeah, have you ever watched To Catch a Predator?
Shingal wasn't talking to you. Talk to my good friend Sandy over here.
I was thinking that you could do a mod
Yeah.
in LA Noire
Action buttons. Make
of
it.
Colton. I don't know, Cole Phelps.
Let's make it.
Yeah.
You turn Cole Phelps into
The Predator.
no.
Yeah, I
you
know
turn
you
Cole
want-
Phelps
you wanna use that, you can.
into Chris Hansen,
Okay.
It's movie. It's
and then all the people that
airplane
you
rules.
interrogate are the
Middle seat gets
Predators.
bumped.
Okay.
So
They're getting the Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Oh, hey, who's getting the microphone? Somebody?
the people that you interrogate.
Yeah. We were talking about when we say to have a seat, we have to do like.
Anyways, other interesting thing about Doom,
No, Chris Hansen?
at the end they've got their little splash screen showing like what platform it's coming to.
Right.
Switch is listed on there,
Okay.
so I wonder if that's
Like
day and
day
date.
date, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know if I was talking about it on the newscast, but I was seeing a couple different headlines. Sorry, I made me think of it. Of Bethesda.
Is it the reselling thing?
Not going to be bringing the new Elder Scrolls to things that aren't crossplay.
What?
I hadn't heard
Yeah.
that.
Oh, here. Let me.
Is that confirmed? Because I very much doubt that.
Oh shit. I guess I didn't save it. So. No, I saw.
Do you remember any of what you read beyond that?
All I care is, do you know if it's real or not? Like, have they said that? Because guess what Fallout 3 sold the best on?
Bethesda may not
Computer?
release.
PlayStation 4.
Oh,
Fallout 3?
Or Fallout 4, excuse me.
Okay.
I bought it.
From GamePrower.com, but
And it's the least functional of all the platforms. Still sold best on there. They're not going to leave that behind. We saw this week how greedy they can be.
Sure. They showed us their ugly side. So. But
yeah, it says
Unless Pete Hines said that, I don't buy it.
Pete sat down with Pete Hines, senior blah blah blah.
wait, they said they wouldn't sell what? Unless it's on.
They're not going to publish it on any...
Bethesda may
Well,
not release the Elder Scrolls Legends on systems that don't allow crossplay.
Which one is that? What's the Elder Scrolls Legends?
Oh, Legends. What is Legends? I don't know.
Is that
Blades is the mobile one. Legends is the card game, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That
It's a
I
card
can
game.
believe.
That makes sense.
I can believe that.
It makes sense.
Uh,
I didn't even. I mean, I don't know what the interest is for that game though. I don't.
Yeah.
I
it
don't
seems
know
like he
if
seems like he
people
just
are-
like kind of stepped around the question.
Yeah.
So
I still think it will release on PlayStation. I mean, considering their games are selling better on PlayStation than PC, which has actual mods, Xbox One, which has better mods than the PS4,
Sure.
and they're selling the best on PS4, I don't see them leaving that behind.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, they showed us this week how greedy they can be.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, I don't know the
You
level
said
of
showed us
interest.
this week. What do you mean?
Well, one, they're trying to stop all used digital sales
Yeah.
of their games. Two, they went after a just regular dude who sells games on Amazon for selling a sealed copy of The Evil Within 2 as new.
Oh.
Which I mean that.
That piled on top of all of their fucking monetization of mods and all that,
Mhm.
like, you know,
Yeah.
That's fun. That whole.
I said no.
not giving review copies to outlets, like all sorts of shit. They care about the money, obviously.
I knew about the resale thing. I just didn't know if there was something I was missing.
That whole thing with the mods is weird too. With because they still have, you can still get your free mods if you want them. Then they have their creation club thing.
Yeah,
That I don't know if any. I mean I don't know if people are using it or not.
they are.
But
I think that it's a good thing for them to have done that because I think those modders should make some money.
yeah,
But Bethesda is taking a cut of that.
sure.
You know.
Everything that I've seen on there is just, it's all cosmetic stuff though. It's never.
Don't get me wrong. I love Bethesda. I think they're a great publisher. I think they're an okay developer. But like they have a history now of showing us that they do care about how much they're making, which they should. They're a business.
Yeah.
I don't see them leaving that money on the table.
Yeah. I don't know. This whole like is cross, like, okay, I hear a lot of like the division between people that I hear say like no crossplay is bullshit, and the people I hear say I don't really care about crossplay.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my like very limited scope of experience, like it's kind of split down the middle, and I don't know, like like personally I don't really care about crossplay, but that's just me because I play mostly single player games anyway.
As somebody who does play a lot of multiplayer, I do care about it.
Yeah.
It's not a deal breaker for me, you know, especially in a generation where more people are playing on PlayStation 4 than the other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I think for like, especially like teenagers,
Yeah.
things like that, it matters
I'll say
a lot
this:
more.
the one cross-play game that I play regularly plays with PlayStation 4, and that's Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
I play on PC. He plays on PlayStation 4. And we play together.
Yeah.
You know, but
I don't know.
I mean, having the Final Fantasy 14 be crossplay between PlayStation and PC was real nice.
yeah.
Real nice.
Yeah, there's another one, right? And that's a PlayStation one. PlayStation has shown a willingness to do cross-play, just not with their competitors, you know?
And then like, and I guess that was kind of underscored by the fact that like, what are Microsoft and Nintendo being all buddy over? What was that?
Well, I mean, Minecraft, for one.
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft can be played between mobile, PC, Xbox, and Nintendo.
Yeah.
Whereas PlayStation has their own Minecraft.
Yeah. Do they do Fortnite also? Yeah.
Fortnite as well. Although that's not a Microsoft thing.
Sure, but
Rocket League as well, but that's not a Microsoft thing again.
yeah.
And Rocket League can cross-play with PlayStation 4, just not, you know, not all together.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right? Like, I do think that there's a good reason to have it, and I have used it and have enjoyed the fact that I can use it. But we talk about all these things, whether it's backwards compatibility, crossplay, Games Pass, and you see the number of people that actually use it, and it's minuscule. You know, it's very small.
But people, it's like if people know they can have it, they'll say
Then they want it.
They'll say they
Right.
want it, and regardless of whether or not they use it.
Also, people know they can't have it.
Yeah.
Still, they want that too.
Well, like
Absolutely.
I think it comes down to like if people didn't realize that the possibility or something didn't exist and you didn't tell them about it, then they might not miss it. But if you tell them that they can't have it,
Mm-hmm.
Then it's definitely then it becomes a big deal. Speaking of cross-platform, Tom, you had I don't know if it's possible or not, but I remember you had predicted that that Monster Hunter would possibly be cross-platform between PC and PlayStation. And that that prediction kind of made sense to me given what Capcom did with Street Fighter. But then again, Street Fighter V was only released on PC and PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Monster Hunter World came out on Xbox as well.
Sure.
While I would love for that's one instance where I would love for that cross-platform thing to be true because
Right. Because we have a bunch of friends who are excited for the PC version.
Yeah, and I have so many hours invested on the PlayStation version.
You don't want to start over.
I would rather not start over.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, like if enough of my friends are playing on PC, then I certainly will. But I just
And that's where I intend to play.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. I think that the whole cross-platform like is like very limited interest to me. Like if you told me that I couldn't do it, I'm like I'm fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like very visibly upset about it.
Yeah, and as they should be. But I just think it's funny because there have been a lot of vocal complaints, especially over the last few months about it, and nobody's using it. Not nobody, but very few people are using it.
Yeah, but if you give people the chance to complain about anything, they'll take it.
For sure, absolutely.
It's also,
Especially in the game space. But
or anything. I just love to bitch. I just love finding something to complain about.
But like I'm going through my Switch this week and like going on the eShop and all that, and like I have no intentions of playing Fortnite, but I saw it on there and I was like, that might be fun to play in bed.
Yeah.
I might.
Why just
And
in
if
bed?
I do, I could play with my PC friends or my PlayStation friends or whatever,
Yeah.
And that's a nice option to have. Actually, I can't play with my PlayStation friends.
No, you can't.
But like.
But I mean, but at the same time, like that's less of a big deal, right? Because it's free, right? I mean, unless you really care about all the cosmetics and shit you unlocked on PlayStation.
I don't think that the cost should play a factor in it, though. Let's say you bought, I don't know, Minecraft, right? Let's say you buy the PlayStation 4 version of Minecraft, and you can't play with your friends. You got a full game out of it. Like, you are not owed anything else, in my opinion.
Well, no, but like at the same time, like we're talking about with Monster Hunter, like if I could, like part of what's holding, like part of what's driving my hesitation, aside from the time investment, is dropping another $60 on that game again.
Sure.
And if I didn't have to do that, then I probably would have started another Monster Hunter character by now.
So on Xbox, are you able to play with PC players?
I don't know. I can't say. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, at that point, like it's the same buy-in one way or another because I only own it on PlayStation.
Sure.
And if I'm gonna choose between the two, I'm probably just gonna buy it for my computer.
I mean, I do think at some point, probably next generation, we will see this become a regular thing across all platforms. But we have to remember, this is kind of like cross-play as an idea is in its infancy.
Very new. Very new.
Give it some time. Sony will likely not come out on top next generation, right? If history tells us anything, like it is very likely that their sales will not be as high next gen as they are this gen.
Right.
And when these manufacturers are humbled is when they tend to do these things.
Right.
Hence Microsoft being so consumer friendly this generation.
Mm.
When they started off not being that way at all.
Well, they were riding that 360 high.
Yeah.
Sure, and with PS3, PlayStation, they were riding that PlayStation 2 high.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The only time that I can think of that for a home console, not a handheld, right, where you see somebody lead the generation twice is PS1, PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't name another time ever that's happened.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo?
Nope.
Really?
Wii U, Wii.
Nope.
Wii U. Sorry, Wii U, Switch.
Also no.
Yeah.
Saturn to Dreamcast.
Super Nintendo sold worse than the NES. N64 sold worse than the Super Nintendo did.
Really?
Yep.
Did not know that.
GameCube didn't sell that well either, as a matter of fact.
I was
Yeah,
actually
I remember that.
I was actually listening to the numbers for units sold between going from 64 to Wii U, and those numbers are like really low.
They're not low. They are still great.
But like relatively
Wii U is not great.
Relatively speaking, like like I would just say this: the GameCube did not sell nearly as many as I thought it did.
No, not at all. Which is funny because a lot of people don't seem to realize this. GameCube was more powerful than PS2 was. Games looked better on GameCube.
No, I remember that.
Like the first time I saw
PS2.
Smash Melee.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Well, I mean
Resident
cross-platform games. Resident Evil, right?
Double Dash.
Beautiful Joe,
Dash.
Killer 7. Like these games all looked better
Yeah.
Super Monkey
and
Ball.
performed better on GameCube, but you know, it's not all about graphics, right? Switch is showing us that right now.
Giraffics.
Well, that's funny because like every time, like, and this is something that I've pointed out repeatedly over the past couple of years, is that whenever people are showing us their new hardware, like what happened with the PlayStation 4 Pro, what happened with the Xbox One X, the thing that like the thing that that has been harped on the most is how sharp and crisp these games look, like how great these games look in 4K, and very little emphasis on
Substance.
on what these games are doing, like under the hood, beyond what you can see.
There's little innovation in the game space these days, and it's kind of sad to see. I'd like to do an episode on this, as a matter of fact. We always got this from Nintendo, right? Whether it's the addition of a D-pad, I mean, labeling buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Who did that first? Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, shoulder buttons, analog sticks, rumble packs, all of this stuff. Nintendo, motion controls, all of it, right? And while I love the Switch, and while it's probably wise for them to not make anything super gimmicky with the Switch, I kind of miss that. I kind of miss Nintendo taking those risks.
I feel like it's still gimmicky in the
It's not though. It's a portable and a home console. Okay,
I think
that
I think
Like, people probably
that's been done. It's been done.
Like
you know?
compare it to what they've done in the past though. Like with the Wii and
It's not as innovative.
It's not as innovative, right? You compare it to the DS or the Wii or an analog stick.
I still feel like it's gimmicky though.
Compared to
To a degree.
compared
but
to PlayStation or Xbox, sure. But compared to what they've done in the past, I don't
because
think it is.
it also just very much seems like they're just kind of iterating on what was already an existing concept.
Well, that's how they introduced the console, by showing their old consoles.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't lend itself. Like, I guess my point today is it doesn't lend itself to new types of games, right? Like anything we do on the Switch, we could have done on the previous generation or the generation before that. Whereas with the N64 adding an analog stick, we couldn't do that on the generation before. You know, same goes for the DS or the Wii. And like I said, while it was probably smart of them, and the numbers are showing that, for them to show some restraint there, I do think a lot of it has to do with Iwata's passing. It's kind of sad that we don't have this weird, wacky-ass third company over here, you know, who is kind of leading the way. Because,
The fun uncle.
Because if you think about most of those things that they did were copied.
Yeah.
You know.
It's funny that you said fun uncle because like it was like when you say fun uncle, it's like Nintendo is like a fun uncle, but he has like really weirdly conservative viewpoints on stuff.
Yeah.
He's a fun uncle, not a funny uncle.
But you know what though?
No, we're not doing that.
But it's like in regards to what y'all are saying, as far as like all flash, no substance. It's like with Final Fantasy 15. There was
Careful now.
no. It's I remember because they're like you could see each strand of hair, and it's like all the graphics to show the details. Like,
Right.
all right,
That's
well,
not a new thing, though.
but I was like, okay, well that's cool that you're going in depth for all this. I was like, but this game, it's all flash, and really for me, it was like no substance.
You know how Rare sold Killer Instinct 2?
No.
Like how they tried to market that game on the hair. They had a term for it, tech hair.
Huh.
Look it up, it was dumb as hell.
I mean, I do.
Killer Instinct 2 is just not as good.
Oh, I loved it.
But like be that as it may,
And I think the next generation of consoles, we're going to see more of that. We're going to see less risks.
Yeah.
which like I just don't get. Well, don't get me wrong. I like pretty games, right? I like good graphics. That's fine. But at the same time, if you're giving me the same gameplay and just making it look better, I'm still gonna get bored.
Yeah, and well, I'm not gonna go into rehashing here because I remember y'all read off a question of mine a long time ago now,
Sure.
and I'm of the opinion that it's like if you're gonna give me a game that's built upon flash with no substance, then there's no point in playing it just to be wowed by prettiness. If there's no reason for me to play the game and stick through it, what's the point?
Well, there's also the fact that things can be.
Something like Flower, where it's like
Flower's a great example.
Where yes, the majority of it's pretty, but it's also not meant to be a super immersive game like 15, like Final Fantasy 15. It can be immersive. All right, it's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be that same kind of experience.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be like an experience with a great depth of storytelling and character development, all that. If it's supposed to be like an immersive game where it's pretty and it's light and it's short and it's not like 60 hours long.
It's like Edith Finch. Very gorgeous game. Very short game. So it's like there wasn't a lot of like. It was like a weird mix of everything.
You know what's interesting about Flower, Edith Finch, the majority of Nintendo's first-party catalog, is that they're all beautiful fucking games without the power. Well,
it's like Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword was a very pretty game.
Yeah.
But as far as gameplay goes, I hated it because it didn't feel like the Zelda overworld. It was like patches.
Okay, that's a good point. I thought you were going to say you hated it for why most people hate it.
No, the motion controls were kind of odd.
They were dumb.
But
nobody wants to fly like this.
But no, as far as like...
Apply!
It wasn't that. It was like you're fighting a guard and it's like there's some things where you gotta like slash in the way that like the opening is.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad. But as far as just like there's the map, fly to the beam of light, go explore this tiny little area, go back and do that. It doesn't have the same Zelda overworld that every single one has had. So it's just like playing.
Every single one?
No.
Spirit Tracks?
I haven't done those. Like
Okay.
main
All right.
main games.
They're all main, except for like Four Swords.
Well, not handheld ones. Like actual like.
Actually, even Four Swords is considered main.
It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts. All of them are main games.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but no,
pretty
okay.
much, except
So-
the CDI ones.
Oh God, those.
Yeah, the Wand of Gamelon.
Oh.
But no, like, I really tried to enjoy that game, and I couldn't do it.
I loved it. I really did.
There's a lot of people that did.
No, there's not.
A lot of people that I know.
There's
like,
more people
really
that loved it than other M, but there's not a lot of people that loved it.
I've
What
hardly
are we
met
talking
anyone
about?
who played Metroid.
Skyward Sword.
You guys just said two different games.
Oh, we are talking about both of them.
Well, they're
Okay.
comparing the two games.
Okay.
And as far as audience
I got lost.
reception. Yeah.
I can see that look of bewilderment. You're
I
like,
was-
oh.
Well, no, because like all these like, do I like that more powerful hardware is coming out? Absolutely.
For sure.
But the most interesting thing that I've seen done in the past few years, as far as games are concerned, the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro weren't even actually necessary to make this happen. Was what they were doing with Days Gone. Like that is a mechanically very cool thing.
Yeah. For sure.
And that is possible on what was already existing hardware.
Well, but I mean, they couldn't have done Days Gone last generation.
No. I'm saying like what, like it was possible on the existing
Sure,
PlayStation 4 hardware.
sure.
I didn't need a PS4 Pro for that game to happen.
Yeah.
And like doing things like that, that's what I want. If you're gonna show me a more powerful box to play my games on, absolutely give me that. But do like cool things that I couldn't do before.
That's like my dad. He was asking me, he's like, what's the difference between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro? I was like, you can play prettier games faster. That's it.
Yeah, and that is pretty much it. I don't know, man. like I don't know what next generation will be, right? We've heard very little about Scarlet, nothing about what PlayStation's doing.
Yeah.
But I assume it's going to be more of the same, which kind of sucks, really, because like I can think of a few examples of games that would not have worked last generation, but not many,
Yeah.
not many. And I was perfectly fine with the way games looked last generation.
I had no complaints.
Oh, you're not a teenager who wants everything cool, fast, edgy, sharp, tech hair.
You think so? I mean, teenagers are playing Fortnite, which a phone could run.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are preteens.
And especially, well, even still, like with a few years back when that rush of 2D retro inspired games came out, and we were playing these pixel games on what was then really powerful hardware that was capable of rendering something much more complex.
I like that though, because it's something that couldn't have happened before.
Right, but at the same time, like those games. But what I'm saying is that like those games weren't good because of how they looked. Those games were good because of how they played.
I think it's a bit of both though, right? Like if you look at Shovel Knight, so many people are quick to say, "Oh yeah, this is exactly like an NES game." NES could not make a game that looks like that. The
Sure.
color palette's too small.
Right.
You couldn't fit that many enemies on screen at once.
Right.
NES could not do that.
Right.
Well,
This generation gave us that,
Yeah.
if nothing else.
Yeah. But again, they didn't use it to make it. They didn't like super complex like polygons.
No,
and
but
shit.
it is a visual thing.
Right.
You know.
But at the same time, like they put that power to use under the hood. Like gave us more enemies on the screen.
Right.
They gave us smoother gameplay. Right. Like that's the shit that I want to see.
I mean, how many pieces can Knack break into? You know.
Well, I think it kind of see like what you're talking about with retro games. Look at Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
They've went
Yeah.
through. Look at all the Sonic games that have come out in the past 10 years that have been 3D and just garbage.
Yeah.
And then it took them letting the kind of like fans go back and like remake the original 3 to do like what they want, and it's so good.
But it's not like it is good and it's fantastic. But like Sonic Mania could not run on a Genesis. It could not.
No, it's
You know.
far too graphically.
And it's
demanding.
subtle. It's subtle, but it couldn't.
But how do they sell Sonic Mania though? Right. Like, do they talk?
As a throwback.
Yeah.
Well, what I mean is like, are you selling it on how it looks, or are you selling it on how it plays?
No, you're selling it on
Both.
nostalgia.
It's both.
Both.
Okay.
Nostalgia.
Because look at when they did Sonic Generations. It was a mix of old and new.
Okay.
And
They have 3D Sonic in it too.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So, because you would go through a level from each game, one as classic Sonic
He's shorter, chubbier,
and one's as 3D Sonic.
taller, skinnier, slimmer. Grinds.
Shittier.
It's like a skinny Pikachu now.
And
Remember those soaps?
I remember.
but
Remember City Escape?
I do. How could I forget?
It's in Generations.
Ugh.
yeah.
Cool.
But
You know what? Hold on. Look, people like bemoan like City Escape.
People
all the
love City Escape.
all the time, and like let me tell you something. City Escape is to me is like free McDonald's. Okay. People talk about how gross McDonald's is until you tell them that you're paying, and then they're all about it.
well, I mean, I guess
City
I
Escape
could
is
have some
fine.
McNuggets.
I mean,
It's
a lot
fine.
of people
It's not.
that I'm around do
fine.
not talk about how gross McDonald's is.
You are incorrect though. Most people love that song.
I'm not talking about the song. That song sucks. I'm
No.
talking about
What?
that.
No, it's not
What
as
was
bad as
Colors
Taking
then?
for a Ride.
What was Colors? 30 Seconds to Mars, right?
I'm
Colors?
sorry?
Yeah.
Colors was Sonic.
No, I know Colors is Sonic. I'm talking about who did the theme song and was
Oh, I
on
have
all the
no idea.
commercials.
Yeah, don't mansplain
That-
Sonic to Shanae,
Oh.
Sandy.
Yeah, if you can take your mansplaining about Sonic the Hedgehog away from here.
Yeah, I have no idea who did the soundtrack to Colors, but I don't. You
Also,
know.
who cares?
Well, I mean, Colors Generations. Like these are two of the better Sonic games, but
Which one was Sonic Riders? Because that name just popped into my head.
was
Sonic.
that the Connect one?
No, it was on DS.
Which one was the Connect one?
I don't know. There was a Connect one.
Yeah.
Sonic. What was
Promise you, there's a Connect one. It was a launch
Zero
title.
Gravity?
No.
And then what was Sonic? Was Sonic Heroes also a 3D Sonic?
All right, let me Google this.
Yes, Sonic.
Look up Sonic Riders and Sonic Heroes. But Sonic Riders first.
Sonic Heroes was on many platforms.
What is that?
Sonic Heroes, yeah, I had that on GameCube.
Okay.
That one is you had teams of 3 going through the level, and
Oh, that's like Sonic Chaotix. Sonic and Knuckles Chaotix.
kind of. I'm surprised
Sonic
you know that.
Free Riders was the Kinect game.
Ah,
47 on Metacritic.
this sucks. I've got a physical copy of Chaotix complete, and I can't play it because I don't have a 32X.
Reach for the Stars is Jean-Paul McClough from the
What are
band
you
Cash
talking about?
Cash. Theme song for Sonic Colors. Reach for the Stars. It was a lot of reach for the stars. It was the worst
Don't
thing.
ever do
I
that.
Yeah, no, that was like
I-
really irritating.
I didn't hear that so often at GameStop. It was the fucking worst.
You know, when we did like the soundtrack episode and talked about like Take It for a Ride shit, you were all about that stuff.
You gotta take it for a ride.
Like, is that really much worse than that?
Oh, take it for a ride? Much better.
I
Much,
don't
much
believe
better. Gonna take it for a ride.
So we're gonna like slowly push you away.
Guys,
Just go into the
Guys.
bathroom.
guys.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I don't know. I worry about next generation. I do think that there will be innovations in other ways.
Yeah.
I don't
just-
think
I
I,
just
don't, I
don't-
don't think gameplay is going to be one of them.
I just really like. I feel like games they look fine. I don't feel like they need to look better. I just feel like they need.
Oh no, I want them to look better.
Well, but I just don't feel like if I have to choose between are they gonna look better or do new interesting things and like
Agreed.
then I want to do new interesting things.
But you know what's funny though is like
And I also don't understand why it has to be one or the other. I don't know why it can't just be both.
well, those new interesting things fall on the developers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not the hardware manufacturers.
Right, definitely.
But like at the same time, giving them the tools to do those interesting things, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
And I think that did not happen this generation. There are a lot of games that I love this generation. I think it's one of the best generations we've had.
Yeah.
But interesting, new? No, not really.
Well, what I'm like, cause like you take a game like Transistor, right? That's a game that like I don't have nearly the affinity for as you do. Like I played through it once and then just never touched it again.
Yeah.
But like that game wasn't like that game is gorgeous, but at the same time it's like it's not. You know what I mean? It's not like.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not incredibly like.
They
detailed.
released it at last gen as well.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's not like
Yeah.
Forza level of detail, right? But at the same time, like it was doing something that I had never seen before.
Right.
I had never played a game like that before.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking for. I want to play games that I like never played before because like, to me, in most cases, like every shooter does something a little bit different, right? And don't get me wrong, Doom 2016 is still my favorite game of all time. But at the same time, every shooter just boils down to me doing the same thing. And I want to, and like I love shooters and everything, but like I want to do things that like that take me into an experience that like I can say, you know, I have never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, and I feel like one of the things like when we're looking to innovate in video games, especially in video games, I feel like that is not like an unreasonable thing to ask for. Like
It gets more unreasonable as time goes on. You know.
I mean, I get it. Making video games is hard, and I could never make a video game. But at the same time, like I just, like, and I'm not meaning to say that like if they don't innovate on these things, I will stop playing video games because I mean, who am I kidding? I won't.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like each time we get a new Transistor or a new Edith Finch
Yeah.
or you know anything new that we have not really seen before. Well, we've seen it now, and that's one less thing
Yeah.
for a new developer
But
to
even
do.
and I guess like and I'm at the point where I'll even settle for a fresh take on something.
Sure, and I
There
think
you
we're
go.
seeing a lot more of that.
Yeah.
First person.
Okay.
Ian's eyes.
Sure.
You know, actually, I feel like
It's
that
just a black screen.
because he's blind.
Yeah.
No, wait, no, because he needs eyes. He plays the dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's a very low. It's like Odd Job. You're very low to the ground,
right.
and you kill yourself because you're bored.
Yeah, because that game
Yeah.
sucks. But like even still, like when games like do, you know, like a fresh take on an existing concept is also very much appreciated. You know.
You know what I really liked as far as very different style of fighting games? Bushido Blade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that before. Actually.
I would love for Bushido Blade to come back, or someone to like do a spiritual successor because people love doing spiritual successors. A spiritual successor to there's already a successor to Bushido Blade 2.
Well, that's not really new, right?
Yeah.
been done.
But if someone does another like a game like Bushido Blade or like a fresh take on that, that would be awesome.
And what's so sad is like this generation we saw so many great new ideas that couldn't be done before.
I guess that was Nidhogg.
In VR, and VR has not taken off the way that I had hoped, and the way I think a lot of people had hoped.
Sure.
It can still be profitable, but I think most of the times when we see a VR game come out now, it has a non-VR counterpart to it.
That's what I was saying. Like, you have people who released their game that was like, this has only been a VR.
Right.
But then we're like, man, it's not selling the way we need it to, so now we're making a non-VR
and that's
version.
sad. And I don't think VR is going anywhere, but I also don't see Sony investing a terrible amount more time or money into it anytime soon.
But you said that, but remember when we, the last time when Sony did a showing, they showed a lot more PSVR stuff than we had expected to see.
Sure, but how much of that stuff was something that they were making?
True.
I'll say this.
For
VR, have y'all played Resident Evil 7 yet?
Very little, and not in VR.
I'm not
So-
gonna play that game VR. I just can't handle it.
That is a game that, on its own, is a really good game.
Yeah.
I could see them as it's like how they marketed it for VR. It just makes a very good game a lot better.
Right.
It doesn't. You can play the game not having VR and still enjoy it and be scared, as my dad and I were.
So do you think
Right.
it would maybe be smarter to just like make a game and like also have like a VR mode component to it, like with what Wipeout did?
Yeah.
But I think that
Uh,
limits you on what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Tiger Woods did that, where they had
Yeah, but golf is
with the
boring
Kinect.
though. So
And I think
no,
that the
with the
problem
Kinect
is
to have like voice controls with that.
yeah.
And that I remember a lot of people were being real mad that was part of the Tiger Woods games.
But
Yeah,
if you could have a game to where it's made to be gimmicky but not detrimental if you don't have that set gimmick.
All right, besides a horror game, what other genre?
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
there's so many things though, right? Like I think the problem with Resident Evil, and I don't think it's a problem. People love that, and they love it in VR as well. In VR, you're not doing anything really that you couldn't do out of VR.
yeah,
You know,
basically
and I
instead
think
of
that is the issue, not in sales wise, but as far as what we're talking about, new experiences, right?
Right.
yeah.
If you think about like Res Infinite, Res has been around for a long time. Res is an old ass game,
Right.
but never in Res could I look behind me and shoot what I had passed up.
Yeah.
You know,
Fresh take.
Exactly.
And I think and it's weird to say VR is in its infancy because VR is old, like as a concept is old, but VR as we know it now is still, I feel like it's still growing and people are still learning how to use that hardware.
Yeah.
Dude, bring
And
back
learning how to market it too.
Yeah.
VR Night Trap.
It's gonna take VR being more affordable than it already is.
Well,
I
I
already think it's worth it. I already think if you're spending
Yeah.
$1,000 on VR, you're getting a good deal.
Yeah.
But most people don't see
But
that.
like
you
I
know?
mean, because
I mean, when you're doing like cost of living, all the other stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Here we go. Like, instead of horror, like Skyrim, those kind of games. If you did that like VR, you're not doing something to where it's detrimental to it because. I mean, think about it, what are you doing? You're just looking like that instead of using a D-pad to look around or a joystick.
Yeah.
You're doing it like that.
Because I talked about my experience with playing Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, and I haven't played on Switch, so I can't speak to it. But I know the mechanics are very similar on Switch. But like,
It's samesies.
yeah, basically yes. But being able to use the motion sensor on the paddle or on the pad for the archery, and that's the only thing I ever used it for. But having that option, having it integrated, made it nice.
Well, it's like Twilight Princess.
But doing something like that with the VR, yeah, I can see like action adventure games.
But then look at
Fair point.
But then even Twilight Princess from the GameCube and the Wii, like you really only use the nunchuck to like slash, and basically that you're just like that the whole time. So it's not like Breath of the Wild or not Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword where it's exact. You're just like,
Yeah,
it's not. It's
Well, because
different.
they didn't have Wii Motion Plus then, Sandy.
Yeah, but
So.
do you know what that is?
yeah, I know what it is, but it's.
Do you know where Harvey Dent is?
But no, it's not gimmicky to where it's like game breaking to where it's like you need it.
I like Resident Evil 4 on the Wii as well.
Gimmicky, I think, is
Resident
underappreciated. Gimmicky can be great.
Yeah.
You know, DS was gimmicky as fuck.
I mean, like
But-
you go to the
Yeah.
like when you go to
And
the
then on the flip
arcade.
side,
Like think about like
Virtual
when you go to the arcade, like
Yeah, sure.
you want to like those gimmicky games are the ones that attracted me.
yeah.
But you know, you say Virtual Boy, but like what's funny about that is like, okay, so we're looking at one of their biggest successes and one of their biggest failures. It's a gamble.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm sad they're not taking that gamble anymore.
I mean, because like
But where else can you go though?
What do you
I mean,
mean?
at this
They've
point,
always found a new place to go.
Like-
when nobody else has, Nintendo has.
they would think of something that like we hadn't thought of, and like but again like I think gimmicky is great, especially when you have like especially when you have Nintendo and you have your two competitors who are
copying you.
yeah, and also like basically doing the same thing as one another. And like, yeah, granted, like Xbox One X is more powerful than the PS4 Pro. Like, I get that, but they are conceptually the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's gimmicky. I mean, like gimmicky as being as far as like detrimentally gimmicky. Like, look at the.
But like
But look at like the Wii, where they brought out the motion sensor stuff, and then from there you had PlayStation with its Move and Xbox with the Kinect, where they tried to copy that gimmick.
Yep.
But it wasn't.
well,
Yes,
yeah, because
it
like
wasn't as
the
good.
copy of a copy
The
is
ship
never
had
as
sailed.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, the
By the
Move-
time Move or Kinect came out, the ship had sailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the Move was, I feel, more accurate with sensors than the Wii before the
Totally
Wii Motion Plus.
agree.
And there's like some amazing games on there, but like when you've already been playing your PlayStation a certain way,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you have to buy like new component.
Well, not only that, but like they copied Wii. Like it's not the same tech, but like what
The
you
idea.
are doing
The
is
idea.
so fucking similar that we had already had many of years playing similar fucking games on the Wii.
I wonder if
Well, there's no excitement for it. People
Dude, I
got
think-
excited. There was excitement for the Kinect,
do either.
and then yeah,
Because people thought it was gonna be a lot funner than it actually was.
yeah, I was excited for it.
And then fucking what is it?
I was excited for
Parallel-
Forza because of the Kinect.
Sure.
Paranormal Activity movies where there was, I think it was like the second or third one. They put that in the thing where like the ghost would set off the sensors because they would have it where the sensors went on the wall, so it saw like all the pinpoints. And whenever like they're getting stuff on camera, it was showing off where the Kinect was doing stuff, and the ghost went through it, and you're just like, oh!
I got mixed up when you said Paranormal Activity. I thought about Hotel Transylvania.
Not the same thing.
Yeah.
No, but like I feel like gimmick is what you want to do when your competitors are like basically just trying to copy and iterate on top of each other. Then you want to do the shit that they're not doing, right? Because like the Switch is doing what neither the PlayStation or Xbox is doing, and it's not like it's not outlandish and crazy, but it's different.
Yeah.
And
Well,
but then again, like you talk about like.
Like Labo, right? Labo is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and
it's awesome. And
It's
sold
so
well.
cool.
It's sold well, and they're making new ones. They're making more
And
of them.
the thing,
you know?
and you think about like you think about like, well, like you can do a gimmick and it could fail. Well, that's just the risk you take in the market, man.
Nintendo
Like-
found a way to sell you some fucking cardboard.
Exactly,
For a high
like
price.
like Labo could have just as
Cheap
easily
ass
failed
plastic
as
for a
it did
high
succeed.
price.
And it didn't sell out, but,
But,
like
like-
it sold well enough.
But it could have done like it could have done so much worse, but it didn't. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it is that like you have to like those risks are necessary if you want to innovate. And it sucks because like Tom said, like I lament like that lack of innovation because people aren't doing crazy things anymore, and we have to like
developers are.
developers are,
know.
but like as far as like new like different ways to play, like I get it, like the Wii U, like it didn't sell out, but it was different.
But, and then
And it was a risk that they took, and like the Wii U could have also been successful if it had the support to back it up.
and then there's also like the smaller gaming companies that try to make their own systems, and they have something creative with
Ouya?
them. What?
Ouya?
Like Ouya? There was another two that I can remember at GameStop, and like the people who like made them like I get like emails from them saying like, "Oh, this is so different from the rest of them because you can do this, this, and this with it," and like
But they
none of it's
never
sold.
are.
Well, it's like the N-Gage. That tried being a mobile phone and a console all
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
one.
but like there even more widely accepted things, right? Like there's Nvidia Shield, right? Which like
People seem to like
people
that
bought,
thing.
not like I wouldn't call it a success,
Right.
But more people bought it probably than the N-Gage,
Yeah.
you know. But like, there's
Or the
nothing new
Ouya.
about that. Like you took an Xbox controller and slapped a screen to it. There's nothing new about that.
Yeah.
You know.
I just think that like there is a point at which that all this shit is going to stagnate in a really like shitty
Well,
way.
Do you think that
Well,
that the PlayStation 4 controller with the touchpad being on the controller in the way that it is was originally utilized in a lot of like games? Do you think that was innovative at all?
I think it was a good idea.
It didn't work out very well.
It's like the touchpad reminds me a lot of the gamepad for the Wii U, in
Yeah.
that it's a good idea. You could use it in a lot of interesting ways, but if first party doesn't support it and show you how you can use it, third party is not going to then
Yeah.
do anything with it.
Sure.
So it's essentially become a map button,
Yeah.
you know.
Because like
But at the same time, DualShock 4 is now the best-selling controller of all time.
yeah.
You know,
I mean
do you
I
think
think
since people are breaking them so often?
no.
I think that the most interesting use of the DualShock 4 I saw in Second Son.
The spray paint.
I mean,
Is that what you're talking about?
I'm pretty sure that's what I'm talking about.
Where you had to hold it sideways and shake it like
I
a
was doing
spray
something with
paint?
that touchpad too. I can't remember what it
I'm
was.
sure you're right. I'm sure you're right.
I was doing something with that
I think
touchpad
it
too, but I
was.
can't remember what it was.
I forgot what game it was, but I remember using the touchpad to go along the map. Like I was tracing my path through it,
Yeah.
and by doing like the path motion on the.
But has anybody played Uncharted
Golden Abyss.
Golden Abyss?
No.
So like that
Anyone here
tried
play
to
Uncharted 4?
utilize
Yeah.
that tried to utilize like every function of the Vita, you know.
Hmm.
So like, you know, you do like charcoal rubbing, so you'd rub the front touch screen. and
That's
shit
cool.
Like that.
Like a little
Or like you'd be
adventure.
like blowing dust off of something, so you'd like blow into the microphone and shit like that. You know.
That's cool.
It's like
Since
Nintendo.
you're going on the cruise and you're taking your Switch with you.
Shut up. But but like ultimately, it was things that was like kind of interesting the first time, and then after that, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong. Like Golden Abyss is a better Uncharted game than the first one.
So then you got to find
But-
that balance, right? Because like when you have them people doing that throughout the game, like when you first turn on the game, like that, like whoa, this is so cool. But like 8 hours in, you're like, okay, I'm done, right?
It's like-
but that,
it
but
feels like
that
a
is not
bop it,
why
like,
the Vita did
blow
not
it.
sell.
No,
Right?
it's not.
Like universally, people really love the Vita.
Right.
It didn't sell well because of things like proprietary memory and third-party support and other things outside of the hardware itself, because all of those gimmicks were supported by first party,
Right.
whereas the touchpad isn't really supported by first party.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that's something that they did like out the gate. Like they're like, hey, look, we have this thing
Yeah.
on the controller. Like you can use it, and it can be a thing that you put in your games. But then like that even still like their support of it fell off like pretty sharply, like early on, and then like why would you? And it's so to the point where like I forget it's there most of the time.
Well, see, I think the most interesting thing about it is like, I would be quick to say, oh, you're not going to see a touchpad on the DualShock 5, but then I'm like, best-selling controller of all time, maybe you'll see a touchpad on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think every controller moving forward has a share button on it?
Yes. Nintendo did it.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't want you to share anything, and they did it.
Yeah.
You know? They
Um,
don't want you to share anything, and they did it. So, yeah, I think so.
Well, it's also the touchpad is like it's a map button. It's also like the de facto select button.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And it's the thing is that like Sony has when the PS3 came out with all that 6-axis stuff, and that was when they first came out. They didn't have the rumble because of that whole lawsuit or whatever. And playing Uncharted that first time, and controlling the arc of my grenade with my controller that first time, it was cool. But by the time I got to the end of Uncharted, I was like, let me just use the stick. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I think it really depends on how well it's implemented in game.
Yeah.
Shanae talks about Breath of the Wild, and I totally agree. Like, it feels better to play that game that way than without it. Because I tried, I turned it off.
Yeah.
Splatoon 2, like I've talked about, that is the best way to control a shooter on a console.
How is that?
And nobody's copying it.
How is that?
With the motion controls.
Okay.
Nobody's copying it. Call of Duty should be doing this. Overwatch should be doing this on consoles, and they're not.
Yeah, like
Well, like even
like,
Xbox has never had motion controls, so.
Sure, but DualShock 4 does.
But they should.
You know?
but like
They should have motion controls, though.
the thing is, Britta wasn't like super interested in Splatoon until I told him about how it controls.
Yeah.
And how you can use that with the game. And I wish they would use that to market it better.
I mean, it's hard, right? It's a new IP on a console that sold almost nothing,
Yeah.
you know? But
Like
Yeah.
the Switch?
the Wii U.
No, I'm talking Splatoon too.
I know, but like the first Splatoon, almost nobody played, so you can't expect a ton of people to jump on with the sequel, you know?
True facts.
It's hard, but it's sad though, because like I want that in every console shooter, all of them. And it's
Well, it
not,
makes
it's not
sense
gonna
though,
happen,
you know? Like especially if you're talking about like, if you're talking about like I play shooters on PC because of the precision of the mouse and keyboard,
yeah.
right? And then we're all having that conversation. We'll also have simultaneously having the conversation about blurring the lines between PC and console, which is I presume the point of these hashed up consoles, and that's the one thing that they don't. I mean, that's not the one thing, but like that's one of those things that they don't have, right? That's one of those things that helps you. That's one of the things that helps divide the two. Is
Yeah.
like, if I'm gonna play Call of Duty, I'm gonna play it on my computer because I can aim so much faster.
Well, you know the sad part about that is that's not a manufacturer problem. That's a developer issue.
And again,
You know?
and so we talk about like, these more powerful consoles coming out, which again, more powerful. I will never turn down more powerful
Yeah.
hardware. Like that will just never happen. But then the onus comes on to the developers to say, hey, let's use this power for something, or let's use these features for something.
Not even power though, right? Like this could have gone back as far as, I mean, what's the first console to have USB?
I'm thinking PS2.
It could go back a long ways, right? Like, and we've seen it with consoles without USB. It's on the developers to say, "Hey, we're gonna let you use mouse and keyboard."
I'm dying.
You know, Shanae, and you, 14 lets you use mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
I can't think of another PlayStation game that does that.
And like, why not?
Why not?
I feel like-
Blizzard could do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the whole thing that too, right? Like,
And you know what? Then Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo already does it actually, could sell
well, they
keyboards and mice.
I
Right.
think even
But-
Dreamcast had.
Dreamcast had one.
Because
Yeah.
Camping of
GameCube
the
had
Dead.
one. The Switch already has a keyboard.
Well, like people like there's a question of like the question I hear not that often anymore, but like I had heard pretty often was like, why don't they bring World of Warcraft to consoles?
Yeah.
And then people were just like, well, how are you gonna mount the controllers? Like, well, you don't
A lot
have
of
to.
inputs, right?
You don't have to
And
because
that's
like
that's just
these-
it. Like I've got a buddy who's like, oh well, I don't want them to ever do that
like why?
because I play games with controller. I'm like, dude, well, it's not about like there shouldn't be any one input that you prefer across all games.
Yeah.
You know, on PC, I've got a shit ton of games I still play with a controller.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's like look at Diablo. When they brought Diablo out on the consoles, I was like, how are they gonna do this?
And
Well,
they did it.
Diablo 3, they did a great
And
fucking
then
job.
and then playing Diablo 3 on console, I was like, I like this so much better.
Yeah.
I don't, but I do think they did a fantastic job with the
Yeah.
controls. I mean, shit, porting. We talked about when Fallout 4 first came out, the great job Bethesda did with their remote play.
Which they didn't have to do, but they
configuration.
did it.
Yeah,
you know?
nobody was gonna play that shit. Like
Yeah.
very few people were gonna play that on a Vita. You know.
But like when people did, they were like, well, this is a nice
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that like I honestly think that for the most part the manufacturers are doing their job with giving them the horsepower that they need to innovate on the concepts that they have. I don't think that they're doing the best job of communicating what their what their hard work can do, or anything like that. But I do think that the onus does definitely fall on developers to do more with what they have.
I think it falls on the manufacturers as well, though, because like, okay, think about like, let's talk about last generation, right? We had PlayStation and PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, which were very similar, but one was significantly more powerful than the other. We couldn't see that because the cell processor was difficult to program for.
Right.
Then we had the Wii, which was way different, right? What do we have now? We've got 3 consoles that are very much the same.
Right.
You know, and to me, that's what sucks.
Yeah, because I mean, any
You know what
any
we
game that I
also have?
play on the Switch, I can play on the other two.
I mean, other than first-party stuff and a few exclusives here.
no, I
and
mean,
there,
but I'm saying
like
if
buttons-wise,
like,
input-wise.
right, that's what I'm
you
saying.
know?
Like if first party like properties weren't a thing, like I could like Mario and
Right.
Toad and all that shit could work on another
Yeah,
platform.
yeah.
You know. What were you saying, Shanae?
Not important. As most things I say.
Sure, I agree with that.
Look, pretty much what I'm trying to get across, Ryan, is video games are a bummer. All right?
Alright. Is that your ending thoughts?
That's it.
Ryan, ending thoughts?
I'm probably going to keep buying video games for the rest of my life
Sure.
for as much as I complain about them.
Sure.
I hate them and I love them at the same time.
Sandy, ending thoughts?
VR Layers of Fear.
Okay.
That's.
No locks in there.
Could you imagine? Should I the headset on? Like with the headset on, like. Watch a Layers of Fear video if you want to know what we're talking about.
Sure.
I'll just get trapped in something.
Sure.
My ending thoughts are really that if someone is going to go on a cruise and not use their Vita, they should let somebody else borrow it.
Or my thoughts are, if someone has been asking about a Vita for this long, they've had plenty of time to buy a Vita of their own.
Sure.
You already gave your ending thoughts, you don't get a second one.
So.
You already gave ending thoughts.
Also, the scariest part of the Layers of Fear video is Shanae's temper.
I get real mad.
Take us out, Sandy.
All right. Well,
It's hard, right?
so this has been a Save Continue podcast, y'all.
We love you, Sandy.
Hey, y'all want me to do it? The West Texas accent's coming out, so
Sure.
It just makes them happy.
Keep going, man.
They can't hold it in, they gotta laugh.
We love you.
We do.
so catch these guys every week on whatever podcast streaming services y'all have, as well as on YouTube. Because like I said,
Say Pornhub.
because like I said,
Pornhub.
here in
Say Pornhub.
I ain't saying Pornhub. Cause no, definitely check them out on YouTube. Because like I said, hearing them is one thing, but just watching all the physical interaction and stuff adds in a whole new layer of fun that y'all just can't see otherwise.
A layer of fear.
Sure.
Thanks, Sandy.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Say that, Sandy.
Bye, guys.